Hello again. Welcome back to this series where I'm showing you how to create quizzes effectively on Moodle. In this video, I'm building up from the last video where I showed you how to add multiple questions to a question bank from Microsoft Word. In that last video, I showed you what I said was a beginner-friendly way of converting your Microsoft Word questions into a format that is ready for uploading to Moodle. In this video, I'm going to show you a more advanced method, and this method has more question types that it can accommodate, so it will be more ideal for different types of questions that people might have. Right now, you can see I'm logged into my Moodle account, and I will start by creating a question category for the questions that I'm going to be adding. And the method that we're going to be using is known as the gift format. So let me quickly click on the gear icon and go to question bank categories. In case you're joining us for the first time, I'm using the Moodle Snap theme, so the appearance of my site might look slightly different from the appearance of your site if you have another theme installed. In this case, I want to add a new category, so I'll go down to the bottom and I'll choose the parent category, which is gift demo, and I will name it multiple choice, and I'll add the category. So this is where I will add all the questions that I am going to be working on just now. As you can see, my category has been added down at the bottom there. Now I'll go to Microsoft Word, and in Microsoft Word, these are the questions that I have. I copied these questions from the moodle.org support page for the gift format. And we want to format these questions in such a way that they can be read by Moodle and they can be imported effectively. So the gift format has its syntax. You cannot just copy this and upload it directly from the Word document. You have to format it in a certain way. Now, for you to be able to do this, there's some things that are important to note. First of all, there must be a blank line, at least one blank line left between questions. So between question 1 and question 2, you will need to leave one blank line. And secondly, when you're adding your questions, you do not need numbering. You can see my questions here are numbered 1 up to 4. This is not necessary because in any case, when I'm delivering them in the quiz or the exam, I would want Moodle to shuffle the order to try and control cheating during the exam as students are taking that test. So the numbers are not important. Then thirdly, the numbering that you see, the options here A to C for the answers are also not required. The answers are set between brackets, and you need to specify which one is the correct answer and which one is a wrong answer. So correct answers will be indicated by an equal sign, and wrong answers will be indicated by the tilde. So that is the syntax for this gift format. Now I need to demonstrate this to you, and I'll start off in Word, then I'll move it away from Word, and I'll show you an application which I believe will make life much easier for you. So if you want to use Word and you're comfortable with Word, you will start by deleting the numbering there. So I'll come here and select none. Then I will decrease the indentation. So these are my answers. So I need to put a bracket to open this and a bracket to close. Now for those of my viewers who come from countries that use variations of the English language, a bracket is this character. It is not the parenthesis there. Those are different. So whenever you hear me referring to bracket, it has to be this character here. So once I've done that, in this case, the correct answer is no one. So I'll put an equal sign before no one. And these two are wrong answers, so I'll use the tilde. If you don't know where to find tilde, if you're using a PC, you press Shift and the key that is just before the number 1 in the number row above your keys. It might be in a different location depending on the manufacturer of your laptop. On a Mac, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. So this question is essentially complete, and Moodle will be able to read this question, and I'll need to do the same for the other questions, but I'll not do so just yet. I will copy everything here, and I'll show you how it's formatted in a different application called Sublime Text. Now I'm in Sublime Text. This is a text editor that I believe will make life much easier for you. You can download this for free. They would prefer everyone to pay for this software, and I think it is a good thing. If you can afford, please by all means support them by paying the amount. But if you use it for free, every once in a while, after a number of saves, I don't remember the exact number, it will have a pop-up that will ask you to buy the tool. You can just simply close it and continue using it. It makes life much, much easier. It's available for both Windows and I think Linux as well as Mac. I'm not too sure about Mac. You might need to check if you use a Mac. So in this case, you can see I formatted my questions in the gift format. Why I like this particular text editor is, if I'll just add a new question, what is the name of your lecturer? If I were to add the brackets, I don't have to repeat it. It allows me to add them all at once. So when I click on one bracket, it adds the other. So I'll press enter so that I can enter the answers below. I'll show you another reason why I think this will probably make life easier for you. If I'm now adding the answers, the first answer is Clyde, which is going to be the correct one. The second one is Tinashe, which is a Zimbabwean name. Mto, which is another Zimbabwean name. And the last answer that I'll put there will be Fiti, which is a Samoan name. Now the correct answer is Clyde, so I'll come and put an equal sign there. If I click on the space before Tinashe and I press Control, I will be able to come and click before Mto and before Fiti as well, and then add tilde at the same time. So this allows you to add to format your answers much faster than you would if you were using Microsoft Word or the default text editor on your particular operating system. So this is something that I think will make life much easier for all of you who need to format their questions for uploading on Moodle. Now you'll notice something else. If we go back to the Word document, this other question here had a dash in the middle. Notice how I formatted that. This is the question here. The answers are put in brackets where the dash would be. So you put them in line. That is how you format those questions as you add them there. It's the same thing with this other question. The answers will be in line, but it doesn't matter that we put them on separate lines. This is just for us to be able to visualize what we're doing. But as Moodle will be reading this question, it will just read as the American holiday of Thanksgiving is celebrated on the dash Thursday of November, just as you saw here in the Word document. So once we are done with our Sublime text document, we can save this. And once it's saved, it's ready for uploading to Moodle. And I will show you how to do that by navigating back to Moodle. And in Moodle, I'll go to Import. Remember, I'm under Question Banks. At the Import screen, I will select Gift Format, and I'll scroll down. I have to choose the import category, and I'll choose the category as multiple choice, the category that we created just recently. And now that I've selected the category, I'll leave these other ones as a default, and I will choose the file that I want to upload. In fact, let me show you a different method. You can just simply drag and drop instead of going through that long process. So I'll come here. Here's my multiple choice text file. And I'll drag it here and drop it there and import. And once that's done, Moodle will pass the questions and it notices that there are 5 questions and we can hit continue. Right, so there we go. And here are the questions. Now let's just preview them to make sure everything is looking fine. There's the first question. You can see it added the dash automatically, and we can fill in the correct responses, and it shows the correct response as we encoded it. We'll also select this other one, and again you can see it added the dash. We'll fill in the correct responses, and you can see it added the correct responses. So that's how you would add multiple choice questions to Moodle using the gift format. But the gift format is not limited to just multiple choice questions. Now, for the sake of making this video a little bit shorter, I will just quickly show you the formatting of the other question types and how they would appear in Moodle. When you have true or false questions, this is how you would format them. You would put the letter F or the letter T indicating false or true respectively within the brackets, and that will tell Moodle the correct answer is false or the correct answer is true. And once you've done that and you go to Moodle, you'll notice once you have uploaded them, this is how they will appear. Let's preview this, and there you go. It shows which one is true and which one is false. So that's how you format true or false questions. If you have short answer questions where you would like Moodle to grade students based on the words that they would have entered in the box, you could do so using the gift format. So the formatting is, instead of putting wrong answers, you just simply put all the options for the correct answers. So in this case, who's buried in Grant's tomb, you'll notice between the two brackets, I have 2 answers with an equal sign before them: no one and nobody. If you anticipate more variations of the answer, you can be able to add them in here. Just remember to leave a space between the last character of the previous answer and the equal sign of the next answer. 2 plus 2 equals, the students can type 4, which is the full word, or they can just put the number 4. And please take note, some may capitalize the F, so it will be necessary to also include the variant with the capital F. When you use this approach, Moodle will use the first response as the ideal answer. So if a student selected or entered nobody, in the feedback, Moodle will show them the correct answer is no one, although nobody is also graded correctly. So let me show you how this would appear in Moodle. So here we are in the short answer section, and we'll preview 2 plus 2. I will enter 4 and we'll see what feedback we'll get. So you can see the correct answer is the letter 4, but this one is correct. If I scroll down, you can see the question state is graded right because it is also a correct variant. So that's how you would add short answer questions to Moodle. If you have a question with multiple answers, this is how you would format the question. Instead of using the equal sign, you would use tilde on all the answer choices. But what you'll then do to indicate to Moodle the marks that are allocated to each correct response, you would put percentage signs, so there are 2 percentage signs there, and the mark allocation between the percentage sign, the percentage signs. In this case, you'll notice that Grant would get 50% and Grant's wife would get 50%. And if a student were to select both of those, they would get 100% of the mark. In other cases, it may also be wise to give negative marking, because if a student selects all choices, they will be able to get everything correct, even though they've also selected wrong answers like Grant's father and no one. They will not be penalized for that. If you want it to be that way, it's okay. But if you want to penalize the selection of wrong answers, you can choose to use negative marking. And if you're to use negative marking, you will simply indicate the negative 50 before the wrong answers in between the percentage signs, as you can see here and over there. So let's see how this appears on Moodle. So we're now on our Moodle site and let's preview this question. So here's our question. You can see, unlike the multiple choice and true or false questions, which had radio buttons where you could only select one answer, here you can select all the choices, and then Moodle will be able to grade the students using that. So this is how the question would appear. If you have matching type questions, this is the syntax. So you would use equal signs, unlike in the previous example where we're using tildes all the way through. In this case, you would use equal signs, and you would have the first part, leave a space, a hyphen, and an arrow sign. I don't know if that's what it's called. Then you leave a space and you put the matching response. So sub question 1 will be matched to sub answer 1. Sub question 2 will be matched to sub answer 2, and it goes on. In this other example, which is less abstract, where the question is asking the students to match the following countries with their corresponding capitals, you can see Canada is matched to Ottawa, Italy is matched to Rome, and it goes on like that. So let's see how this appears on Moodle. So there we go. So you can see here, the students will come and choose. They can choose Tokyo, Rome, Ottawa, or Delhi. In this case, definitely it will be Tokyo. In the case of Canada, it will be Ottawa. Then in the case of India, New Delhi, and Italy, it will be Rome. So we can then submit and finish. So it will give them the feedback. You can see down here, Japan, Tokyo, Canada, Ottawa, and so on. So that's how matching type questions are formatted using the GIFT format. If you have numerical type responses, this is how you would format them. You would use the hash symbol or the pound symbol before the answer, and then you put the number. You can also format this specifying a tolerance for up to 3 decimal places using either this formatting here or the formatting below that. Or you can also accommodate slightly different responses. Let's say a student indicates, instead of 1822, they miss it by a year or 2. You can put a tolerance using that column of up to 2. So it will accept answers from 1820 all the way to 1824. Let's see how this appears on Moodle. Right, so in this case, I will answer 1820 and I will submit and finish. I answered 1820 and I got the feedback. The correct answer is 1822. And if I go down below, you'll see that under the technical information, the question state is graded partial because we had indicated those who are within that range of plus or minus 2 will get 50%. So that's why I was graded partial. So it allows you to give a tolerance in case students might miss certain numbers. Now that we've gone through simpler examples, I'm going to show you how you can add feedback to your responses. So in this case, I have a question, what's the answer to this multiple choice question? And the correct answer will be right answer here. If I wanted to give feedback to the students, I would use the hash or the pound sign soon after the answer and give the feedback. So you can see the feedback there is very good. For the wrong answers, there's also feedback comment on this wrong answer, feedback comment on the wrong answer. So that's how you will do it. And in the case of this example, who is buried in Grant's tomb? This is a short answer question because you can see we have 2 equal signs, so this is not going to be a multiple choice question, whereas this one is a multiple choice question. And the feedback is excellent answer for both of them. Let's see how this will appear on Moodle. So here's the multiple choice question. I will choose right answer, submit and finish. And there you see, there's the feedback. Very good. It's displayed just below the answer. I'll also show you how you can add percentage answer weights. This is a slightly more advanced concept, but it will be useful in various situations. So in this case, we have the first question. This also indicates how you can format true or false questions in a slightly different way. You can see here, instead of using true, the T or the F, we used the whole word in capital letters, false. So that's the correct answer. And it's got feedback as well. Then in the next question, this is a slightly modified multiple choice question. We have wrong answer, then half credit answer, and a full credit answer. So the full credit answer just needs the equal sign and those percentage symbols that we saw earlier, the 50, which shows how much of the percentage they're going to be getting, and the closing percentage sign, which indicates this is a half credit answer. Then, in this next question, it introduces us to a new set of characters. We have two columns. This double column indicates the beginning of the question name. Then we put the name of the question, Jesus' hometown. Then we put another set of columns, double columns, that will close out the question name. Then this is where the question text starts, the question description. This is what the students would see. This is for your cataloging purposes. So Jesus Christ was from, and here we have our first answer, Jerusalem. This was an important city, but the wrong answer. That's our feedback. In the next one, the student will get 25% here. If they chose Bethlehem, he was born there, but he was not raised there. Then 50% if they selected Galilee, because Galilee is the district from which he came from. But if they were to select Nazareth, they would get 100% of the marks. So this will get 0 credit, quarter credit, half credit, and full credit there. In this next one, you notice that we have 100% credit, 75% credit, and 25% credit, as well as the feedback that is aligned there. If you feel I am moving too fast, please feel free to pause the videos as you also try this in your particular use case. So I'll go and show you quickly what it looks like on Moodle. There we go. In this case, I'll select Galilee, submit, and finish. So I need to be more specific, and if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see the question state is graded partial, which is exactly what we want. If you wanted to add a question name, this is how you would do it. As I showed in the previous example, you have to put 2 columns, the question name, and another set of double columns. Then this becomes the question itself, the question text that the students would see, and the answer. Same thing in the example below. I'll quickly show you how this appears on Moodle. There we are. Now we're in Moodle. You can see Thanksgiving date is the question name. Then this is the question that the students would see. Kanji origins is the question name, and this is the text that the students would see. As you're setting up your gift file, it may be useful to add line comments. Line comments will not be carried over to Moodle, but they can help you to see and visualize the different types of questions that you're adding. So in this case, you can see I have double slashes here, which indicate that this is a comment. When Moodle gets to this line, it will ignore it, and it will start reading the line below that, which is the question text. So whenever you need to add a comment, just use these double slashes, and it will help you to tell Moodle, ignore this line. And it can be useful for you as you're preparing your gift file. This is how this will appear on Moodle. So there's our question. You can see it ignored everything that was before the question, all the comments that were there. There were actually 2 comments. I hope you noticed that. So they were both ignored, and Moodle just started reading from the question text. We will end this by looking at some more complicated examples which combine various concepts that we have talked about. So in this first example, you'll notice that we have the question name over there, and then followed by grant is complex. That is the question itself that the students will see. And you'll notice that this one will be formatted in a certain way. It's a multiple choice question, but it has a dash. So as students will see this question, it will be grant is dash in grant's tomb. Then these are the options that the students will see below the question. Buried, which is the wrong answer, and there is feedback. No one is buried there. The correct answer is entombed, and there is feedback, right answer, and the other incorrect answer is living, and the feedback, we hope not. We hope not. In this next example, this is another multiple choice question, but in this case we did not have the question name added, but we do have feedback, and there's a space that's left. Moodle will ignore all this space. This is just to make it more visual for you, the person who is creating the question, but it will not be considered in Moodle. Moodle will just see the pound sign or the hash sign, and it will consider that to be feedback, whatever follows this. Then we also have partial credit over there and the full credit answer. In this next example, we do have the question name followed by the question itself. Then below that, we have a combination of partial feedback, partial credit marks, as well as the feedback that comes soon after. Then in the last example, we have a comment which will be ignored by Moodle. We have the question name, and please notice the question name can be separated from the question by pressing enter, and you have it on a separate line. Just make sure you do not add an extra space. It may not work very well. So just keep them without adding the extra space. The extra space is important between questions, like between the question here and the question below it. We have line 21, which is blank. So in this last example, you will notice there's the concept of a numerical answer. So this is a numerical response. That's why we have the pound sign. But we have a number of different options that we have here. The first one, we have 1822. If a person selected 1822, they will get 100% of the credit. And we are not giving any tolerance because you can see the colon is followed by a 0. So the person must be dead on 1822 for them to get the correct, to get the full mark. But we'll also accommodate partial credit for those students that might miss it by a certain range. And in this case, it's 50%. So we put another equal sign, and we put our percentage indicators as well as the colon and the range that we will be using. And we also have feedback there. And this feedback, take note, he was born in 1822, and we skipped another, we pressed enter, and we put the rest of the feedback in another line. Let's see how this will appear on Moodle. So I will choose 1823. Submit and finish. There you see, there's the feedback that I got. He was born in 1822. Then on another line, you get 50% credit for being close. Then the correct answer is 1822. So that's how this will work. I hope this has been a useful tutorial. It may appear more advanced, but trust me, this will streamline your work. It is much faster than having to go and enter questions individually on Moodle. That is more visual, and it's got a nice GUI, but it is slower. If you're pressed for time, use the gift format. It will make life much easier for you, and it's a step up from the Aiken format in the last video. If you would like a reference sheet that you can use as a cheat sheet to reference as you're formatting your questions in the gift format, I will leave a link below the description of this video. If you're watching the video on another site that is not YouTube, please click on the link and it will take you to YouTube, and you'll see the link in the description of the video. Please click like and subscribe to this channel. It helps grow the channel and show YouTube that this is a concept that will benefit many more people. If you have any feedback for me, please may you put it in the comments below. And if you have any suggestions for any future videos, please let me know. If you will need other types of tutorials that you think might benefit you, please comment below this video and I'll be able to make those for you. Enjoy the rest of your day and be blessed.